The asphalt shimmered in the brutal August heat, the kind of heat that feels personal, like the sun woke up and chose violence. I was weaving through a crowded mall parking lot with a greasy Cinnabon bag in one hand and the giddy satisfaction of a brand new car owner radiating from my pores. You know that stupid grin people get when they're in love? That was me. Except my soulmate was a cherry red, 2025 sedan that still smelled like factory plastic and corporate hope. And then I heard it a shriek, high-pitched, jagged, vibrating through the air like a dial-up modem trying to connect to AOL in 1998. Get OFF my CR. I froze. My brain needed a second to reboot because I didn't remember climbing onto anyone's car. Actually, I wasn't even near any car, except mine, which I had left peacefully parked in its spotless, pristine glory. Then I saw her. There she was, walking circles around my brand new baby, like some territorial seagull protecting a stale French fry. Her chunky sunglasses covered half her face, but I could feel the rage emanating off her like microwave leftover lasagna. And that haircut, good lord, that haircut was a geometry problem. Hard angles, sharp lines, the type of haircut that screams, I want to speak to the manager of this entire planet. She slapped her hand on my car hood. This is unacceptable, she screeched, voice cracking like a boy band breakup from 2002. For a half second, I wondered if I'd somehow parked in a reserved spot for pregnant women, veterans, or NASA astronauts. Something that might justify her meltdown. But nope, just a regular, sun-faded spot near the food court that I took a cautious step forward. Can I help you? Without missing a beat, she pointed at the car like it had personally insulted her children's GPA. This is for families, she declared. Not for. She gestured vaguely at me, waving her hand up and down like I was an unwanted pop-up ad. Whatever you are. I blinked. Twice. Maybe 3 times. Whatever I am, I repeated. You mean someone who bought a car? She scoffed so hard I swear the temperature dropped 2 degrees. This is a family vehicle, she snapped. People like me need it. People like you. She wrinkled her nose. Don't. My Cinnabon bag crinkled in my fist as I tried to process the logic. Spoiler alert. There was none. For a brief, stupid moment, I wondered if she might have mistaken my car for hers. Same color, maybe? Same model? But no. Her car, an older but perfectly functioning SUV, sat a few rows away. Sun-faded. A little dented. The kind of car that had definitely survived multiple road trips fueled by juice boxes and crushed goldfish crackers. What do you mean it's for families? I asked. It's common sense, she said, crossing her arms like she'd won the argument. This kind of car should go to someone who needs to transport children, not someone who, what do? Skateboard around? Drink energy drinks? Loiter. I bought it today, I said. It's mine. Her eyes narrowed behind the sunglasses. That's a lie. At first I tried laughing, thinking maybe she was joking. She wasn't. Her expression was as serious as someone who alphabetizes their spices and calls it personality. I literally have the paperwork, I said, patting my pocket. No, she snapped. You stole the paperwork. You stole the car. And I'm not letting you get away with it. And just like that, she yanked on the driver's side door handle. Hard. My heart stopped. I didn't even get to enjoy the full day one experience. And here she was, mauling the handle like she was trying to win something on a game show. Hey, don't touch my car, I shouted, hurrying the last few steps. She whirled on me, throwing her arm out dramatically, like a traffic cop who'd watched too many courtroom dramas. Stay back. You're harassing me. Harassing her. The woman actively trying to break into my brand new car. I'm not harassing anyone, I said, trying to keep my voice calm. I just don't want you to damage my property. Her jaw dropped like I'd slapped her with my Cinnabon. Your property? You think you can bully a mother out of a car she needs? I looked around. No children in sight. Not even a stroller. Not even a sippy cup. Unless her kids were invisible superheroes, the logic wasn't adding up. Where are your kids? I asked. She gasped like I'd insulted her ancestors. How dare you question me? They're inside, waiting for the air conditioning they deserve. I glanced toward the mall. No children. No sign of anyone accompanying her. She was alone, armed with entitlement and blind confidence. Look, I said slowly, I don't want this to be a big thing. I bought the car today. It's mine. I'm just trying to go home. She ignored me completely, turning back to the car and trying the back doors now. What are you doing? I yelled. Checking the space, she snapped. Seeing if the car seat will fit in here. Car seat? There's no car seat. I reminded her. Well, that's the problem, isn't it? You don't need one. I do. I what? That doesn't even. Just stop touching the car. She smacked the roof with her palm. People like you don't deserve cars like this. My jaw clenched. My whole body tensed. I was trying to stay calm, trying not to escalate, but she was scratching the surface of my patience with the persistence of a blockbuster late fee. Please step away, I said. No, she shrieked. Not until you admit you stole it. Stole it. That was her go-to reasoning. Because apparently, in her mind, the world was a video game and she'd spawned in as the main character and I was just some background NPC blocking her quest. She pulled her phone from her purse with dramatic flair, nearly dropping it, and shoved it in my face. I'm recording this. Everyone will see how you're harassing a mother. She fumbled with the screen, clearly not recording, possibly taking 6 blurry selfies of her nose. Okay, I said, stepping back. Go ahead. Record. I've got nothing to hide. You think sarcasm will save you? She snarled. No, but sanity might. Ma'am, I said carefully. I'm not trying to be rude, but you're causing a scene for no reason. The car is mine. Please leave. She lifted her chin with regal arrogance. I don't have to leave. I'm protected. By who? She pointed dramatically to the sky. By the law. I couldn't help it. I laughed. She glared at me like I'd kicked her imaginary children. You think this is funny? She hissed. I think this is insane. I corrected. Don't you mock me, she said. You stole my spot earlier. That means this car should be mine. Oh, there it was. The nonsense origin story. You mean the parking spot? I asked. The open one. In the middle of the aisle? The one you weren't in. She turned red, like she'd been left in the microwave too long. That spot was mine. I had my turn signal on. You were 10 cars away. And you sped in. At 2 miles per hour? Yes. She said it with the conviction of someone presenting evidence in court. I had no idea what reality she lived in, but it definitely had different physics. So because I took the spot you wanted, I repeated slowly. You think the car I bought is yours? Yes, she said simply, as if this was the most reasonable logic ever spoken. And you plan to what? Take it from me. I'm claiming it, she said proudly. For my children. Invisible ones. I muttered. She gasped again. I was pretty sure she practiced gasping in the mirror. You disrespectful. Before she could finish, she slammed her palm on the hood again, sending a shockwave through my soul. I actually winced. My poor car. She'd barely lived a full day. Please, I said, struggling to stay composed. Just step away. She didn't. In fact, she climbed onto the front bumper, like, one leg up. Yoga pose, level balance. For a second, I thought she was going to sit on the hood like she was doing some weird performance art titled Woman Claiming Machine with her. But, what are you doing? I'm preventing you from leaving, she declared. I haven't even unlocked the doors. Because you know I'm right. I stared at her, my Cinnabon now just a warm bag of regret. Get off my car, I said flatly. No, get off. No, this isn't a debate. She adjusted her stance, settling onto the hood like she planned to live there now. I'm not moving, she said. You will give me this car. I blinked, checked the sky, wondered if maybe Ashton Kutcher would pop out and tell me I was being punked. Because this level of delusion, this felt scripted, but it wasn't. This was real, and this woman was perched on my brand new car like an angry gargoyle. Okay, I said finally. If you're not going to get off, I'll have to call mall security. Her head shot up. Good. Call them. They'll side with a mother who's being harassed. I'm not harassing you, I protested. You are, she insisted. You're threatening me. I'm literally just standing here. You're intimidating me. By existing? Yes. For a moment, neither of us spoke. The heat shimmered. A passing shopping cart squeaked mournfully. My sanity trembled. I'm calling security, I said. Do it, she challenged. And that's when I realized something important. This woman really believed she was going to win. She believed she could show up, scream loud enough, and the universe would reshape itself to accommodate her. She thought her kids, real or not, gave her moral immunity. She thought her haircut made her invincible, but she didn't know me. She didn't know how long I'd waited for this car. She didn't know the months of overtime, the budgeting, the sacrifices, the broken old car I'd limped around in for years. She didn't know that I wasn't about to lose all that, because she felt entitled to parking lot justice. So I did the only reasonable thing that I pulled out my phone that I hit record. Her eyes widened behind her sunglasses. What are you doing? Documenting. I said simply. You can't do that. Public space, I replied. You're on my car. Literally. She froze, suddenly unsure. Her mask cracked for a split second, and I saw it. The panic. The first flicker of doubt. But it was gone almost immediately, smothered under her mountain of self-righteousness. You're going to regret this, she hissed. Maybe. But not today, because today I'd reached the limit of my patience. Today I wanted the truth on record. Today, standing in that blazing heat, watching this stranger cling to my hood like she'd paid the down payment. I felt the first spark of something dangerous, resolve. This was no longer a misunderstanding. This was a battle, and I wasn't losing. Not to her. Not today. Not ever. She pointed at me again. Security will deal with you. I smiled. Calmly, coldly, confidently. We'll see about that. And as she shifted nervously on the hood, sweat beading along her hairline, I realized something else. This wasn't even the peak of the chaos. Not by a long shot. But oh, it was coming. That I wish I could say the situation calmed down once I started recording, that the heat softened her resolve, or that basic logic finally cracked through whatever impervious bubble she lived in. But no. If anything, hitting record was like lighting a firecracker in a mailbox. She stiffened, puffed up, and prepared to unleash the full cinematic wrath of someone who had never once considered that she might be wrong. Stop filming me, she barked, clutching the edge of my hood like she was afraid gravity itself would betray her if she let go. You're on my car, I reminded her. You're actively breaking the law. I have the right to record this. You don't have the right to harass a mother. You keep calling yourself a mother. I still don't see any kids. She inhaled sharply, fingers stabbing the air in my direction. My children are inside the mall, and they are frightened because of you. They haven't even seen me. They don't have to. They can feel the negativity. I wasn't sure whether to laugh or cry, so I settled on blinking twice and letting the silence roast her words on its own. Before I could respond, a sharp squawk echoed across the lot. A walkie-talkie. A heavy-set man in a polyester uniform lumbered toward us with the weary gait of someone who'd seen things, dark things, like food court fights and cosplay flash mobs. His name tag read Brad in bold capital letters, as if shouting would prevent anyone from ignoring him. Karen perked up instantly. Thank goodness you're here, she cried, waving both arms dramatically, nearly slipping from the hood. This man is threatening me. Brad paused, taking in the sight of her perched on my car like a confused gargoyle, and me standing 6 feet away holding a phone. He began. What exactly is happening here? She stole my family vehicle, she yelled before I could speak. Brad blinked. What? It's my car, I said, lifting my keys. I bought it today. No, he didn't, she shrilled. He stole it from me. He stole my parking spot, and then he stole my car. I stared at her. Brad stared at me. A breeze drifted by, heavy with the aroma of mall pretzels and collective confusion. Ma'am, Brad said slowly. Do you own this vehicle? Yes, she lied without hesitation. Do you have keys? They're inside. She pointed vaguely toward the food court. With my kids. Brad scratched his head, squinting at my clearly brand new key fob like he was trying to solve a puzzle with missing pieces. I also have the paperwork, I added, tapping my pocket. And I have an app that connects to the car. It's definitely mine. Karen gasped like I'd confessed to a felony. That's fake. He faked that. Why would I fake an entire car app? I asked. T.O. steal from a mother. Brad raised his hands. Okay. Hey, let's all take a step back here. I can't step back. Karen shouted. Because he's threatening me. If I move, he'll take the car. Brad sighed the way only someone earning $14 an hour in a sauna-hot uniform could sigh. Ma'am, I need you to get off the hood. No, she snapped. If I move, he'll run me over. I can't run you over, I said. The car's off. And locked. And, you know what? Never mind. Karen clutched the metal beneath her like she was hanging from a cliff. Protect me. From what? Brad asked, exasperated. From him. She jabbed a finger at me. He's stalking me. Stalking you. I repeated. I walked up to my car, which you're sitting on. That's like saying the ice cream truck is stalking you because you stood in front of it. Brad closed his eyes, probably praying for a fire alarm or a surprise tornado to whisk him away from this mess. Let's see some proof, he finally said. Sir, can I see your purchase paperwork? Yes, I said, reaching carefully into my pocket. Threatening. Karen screeched. He's reaching for a weapon. It's literally my receipt. A weapon of lies. Brad winced. Ma'am, please. I handed him the paper. He unfolded it slowly, scanning the dealership logo, the VIN, the purchase timestamp. It says you bought it today, he said, sounding almost relieved. He printed that. Karen yelled. I printed this. I repeated. At the dealership? Right after they handed me the keys? He probably stole those too. Brad massaged his temples. Do you have any proof this car is yours? He asked her. Yes. My kids know it. Your kids aren't here. They're inside. Do you have the registration? My husband has it. Is he here? No. Can you call him? No. The silence that followed was so heavy and awkward I swear the sun paused mid-scorch to witness it. I think we need to, Brad began. He's harassing me, she interrupted. He's harassing a mother. A mother, Brad. The way she said his name made him flinch. No one's harassing you, Brad said. He looked at me with aggression. I stared at her. I looked aggressively? Yes. How does one look aggressively? With your face. It's the only face I have. Well, it's threatening. Brad sighed again, probably wishing he'd chosen a different career path, like shark wrestling or bomb disposal. Ma'am, I need you to get off the hood now, he said firmly. Karen tightened her grip. No, he'll hurt me. I really won't, I said. I haven't moved. You existed, she countered that I pinched the bridge of my nose. Okay, sure. I existed. Fine. Exactly. You're intimidating. I'm holding a pastry bag. Violently. Brad took a deep breath. Sir, maybe step back a little. I'm already 6 feet away. Maybe 6 more? I stared at him. You want me 12 feet away from my own car? He winced apologetically. It might calm her down. It won't, I muttered. But I stepped back anyway. Karen watched triumphantly, like she'd just won a territorial dispute on a nature documentary. He knows he's guilty, she declared. No, Brad said tiredly. He's cooperating. I am the victim here. Brad tried again, gently. Ma'am, please. Just get down. Instead, she did the opposite. She settled more firmly onto the hood, like she was preparing for an extended stay. From my new, unnecessarily distant position, I exhaled, fighting the urge to scream into the void. I had never met anyone so immune to reason. It was like arguing with a corrupted video game NPC who only had 2 dialogue options. You stole from me. And I'm calling the manager. A group of teens wandered by, armed with sodas and an alarming amount of curiosity. They slowed when they noticed the spectacle. Bro, one of them whispered, is that lady sitting on your car? Yep, I said. Why? Because she believes it's hers. The teens exchanged looks like they'd stumbled onto a live-action meme. One pulled out his phone. Karen saw them and shrieked, Stop recording me. They kept recording. Brad groaned under his breath. Ma'am, please, he tried again. You need to step off the vehicle. She pointed accusingly at the teens. Arrest them. Brad shook his head. They're not doing anything wrong. They're filming me without consent. It's a public lot. They're harassing me. One teen snorted soda out his nose. Brad turned back to her. Ma'am, if you don't get off the car voluntarily, I'll have to call the police. That got her attention. Her posture stiffened. Her sunglasses tilted. Her jaw clenched like a rusted hinge. You wouldn't dare, she hissed. I would. Brad said plainly that a tense silence stretched between us. I held my breath. For the first time since this started, she didn't have a comeback ready. But she wasn't done. She slowly slid off the hood, her movements stiff and theatrical, as if dismounting a royal throne. Her shoes hit the asphalt, and she straightened her clothes with exaggerated indignation. Then she got in Brad's face. You are making a huge mistake, she seethed. I pay taxes. I have rights. Brad, thoroughly exhausted, just pointed at my paperwork. The car belongs to him. This ends now. This isn't over, she screeched, turning to me with fiery vengeance. I will prove this car is mine. You can't, I said. Because it isn't. She jabbed the air between us like she was cursing me in a forgotten language. You think you're clever? You think you can outsmart a mother? I opened my mouth. Something witty perched at the edge of my tongue, but I swallowed it. I was tired. I was sweaty. My Cinnabon was probably a melted caramel crime scene by now. I just wanted this to be over. She stormed off, toward the mall, not her SUV, shouting into her phone about calling corporate. Whatever that meant. Brad exhaled hard. I'm really sorry, man. It's fine, I said, though nothing about this was fine. Thanks for stepping in. He nodded, wiping sweat from his brow. She comes here a lot. Great, I said. So I can expect a sequel. He gave me a sympathetic look before walking away to pretend his job was normal. I stood there a moment. Just me and my slightly smudged hood, breathing in the sticky summer air. The teens drifted away, sharing clips and commentary like sports analysts breaking down a chaotic play. And for a brief second, I thought maybe, the madness was finally over. But I'd soon learn that this was only the opening act. Karen wasn't done. Not even close. The next morning, I woke up with the kind of determination usually reserved for people who decide to start going to the gym on January 1st. The difference was, I actually meant it. Karen had crossed a line, then stomped all over it with those orthopedic sandals she definitely bought with a coupon she stole from someone else's mailbox. And now, after the HOA email, the bogus community concern flyers, and the passive-aggressive sticky note on my garage door that read, "My kids need space more than you need vanity transportation," I knew something unmistakably clear. Trying to reason with her was like trying to play chess with a squirrel. Even if it wanted to understand, it just couldn't. So I needed a smarter play. A cunning play. A4D chess. Galaxy brain. Big brained. He actually did that. Level play? And thankfully. Karen's ego was a skyscraper waiting for a lightning strike. I sat at my kitchen table, sipping the kind of coffee that tastes like determination and petty revenge, scrolling back through the videos I took from the previous day. Karen screaming. Karen yelling. Karen calling the police. Karen nearly climbing into my car like a bored raccoon trying to break into a trash can. A greatest hits album. A masterpiece of entitlement, a cinematic universe of her own downfall. But the crown jewel, the absolute piece de resistance, was the footage of her claiming, on camera, that my car should legally belong to families, while she tried to physically pull my door open. That was gold. Actual, shiny, federally recognized gold. But I didn't want to post anything yet. Timing mattered. If I was going to spring this trap, I needed every piece aligned. And that's when I noticed something vital. Right behind Karen in the video, taped onto her minivan's cracked rear window, was her HOA parking permit. The problem? The permit was last year's color. Expired. Bold move for someone who tried to police my vehicle like she worked for Carfax. I grinned. A plan began forming. One so elegant it made me feel like I should be wearing a monocle and stroking an evil cat. Step 1. Gather intel. Step 2. Bait the trap. Step 3. Make sure the universe delivers the karmic smackdown. She ordered so I headed outside for some reconnaissance. The moment I stepped into the parking area, Karen's ancient beige minivan sat there like a dying hippo, radiating the aura of stale Cheerios and unwashed Capri Sun pouches. Its bumper stickers proclaimed things like "Mom life equals best life" and "Honk if you love soccer." Though based on the permanent dent, plenty of people must have honked and also rammed into her. I used my phone camera like a private investigator in a low-budget detective show. Expired permit. Visible dents. A tire that looked like it was one good pothole away from exploding. A cracked tail light held together with was that packing tape. This wasn't a car. This was a cry for help. And it gave me everything I needed. I headed back inside and dialed the HOA office, putting on my most innocent, "I pay my dues on time" voice. "Hi," I chirped. "I just wanted to report a concern about a resident vehicle that seems to be out of compliance. I think someone may be using an expired parking permit." The HOA rep made the tired sigh of a person who's heard way too many complaints about recycling bins and lawn gnomes. "Do you have the permit number?" "I do," I said, reading it off. "And the vehicle?" I described the van. Beige, wounded, built during a Clinton administration. The rep typed something, paused, and exhaled sharply. "Oh wow. Yeah, that permit expired 6 months ago. And we've sent 2 warning notices already." "Oh dear," I said, fake sympathetic. "I'm sure it was just an innocent oversight." It was not. Karen was about as innocent as a raccoon holding a stolen Pop-Tart. "We'll handle it," the rep said. Excellent. The first domino had been placed, but I wasn't done. Not even close. That evening, I set part 2 of the plan in motion by posting a small teaser clip, not the full video, just Karen yelling, "You don't deserve this, AR," with a caption, "Neighborhood drama incoming." Stay tuned. It was vague enough not to reveal anything, but spicy enough that people clicked, liked, commented, shared. Because nothing accelerates online interest like a suburban meltdown. Within an hour, the video had traction. Within 2, it was gaining comments like, "Bruh, who is this? Is this the same lady who yelled about fireworks last year? Please tell me there's a part 2. I grinned. The internet was hungry. The next morning, I woke up to shouting. Not regular shouting. Karen shouting that I practically skipped to the window. There she was, standing beside her van, while an HOA officer wrote something on a clipboard. She looked like a kettle about to explode that I opened the window slightly, so I could hear every delicious word. "This is a mistake," she screamed. "I am a mother. I deserve priority park." "Ma'am," the HOA officer cut in. "Your parking permit expired last year. You've been notified twice. I have children. That doesn't change the permit situation. I need this spot. I deserve this spot." "Oh." The entitlement IT tasted like victory. "Your vehicle will need to be moved until a new permit is issued," the officer continued. Move her van? But Karen never moved her van. Her van lived there. Then came the part one didn't expect, but absolutely appreciated. "Also," the officer added, "you have 3 unresolved citations. You have 30 days to fix the vehicle damage, or it may be towed." Karen screamed, like full-blown, 90 decibels, velociraptor shrieking that I casually strolled outside with my coffee like I had no idea what was happening. "Oh hey Karen," I said cheerfully. "Rough morning." She whipped around, hair frizzed, eyes blazing. "This is your fault." "My fault? How?" I asked with innocent confusion that could win an Oscar. "You've been provoking me, harassing me, posting vague things online to turn people against me." "Oh," I said, sipping my coffee. "You saw the video teaser." "That video is defamation," she screamed. "Karen," I said kindly, "it doesn't even show your face." She sputtered, actually sputtered, and besides, I continued, "if you keep shouting like this, people might start recording you again." Karen froze. Her eyes darted around at a couple neighbors were watching from their porches like it was the season finale of a reality show. She huffed, stomped, got into her van, after banging on the door twice to make it open, and drove off angrily, only to circle the block because she had nowhere else to park. And the moment she passed by my driveway, I knew she saw the new sign I'd taped up, "Reserved parking. Lawful permit holders only." Subtle? Absolutely not. Petty? Oh yes, effective? You bet your last Capri Sun, but the counterattack still wasn't complete. The piece de resistance was coming. That night, the full video went live. The entire scene. Her screaming, her grabbing the car, her demanding it for families only. The police arriving. My compliance. Her dramatic meltdown. I didn't add commentary, just facts. Clean, crisp footage. The internet did the rest. Within hours, it went viral. Like early 2000s Rickroll viral. Like boomers arguing in the comments viral. Comments poured in. "Is this the final boss of Karen's? She tried to commandeer a whole car? Please tell me there's an aftermath video." Oh, there would be. And Karen had no idea how big this was about to get, because the trap hadn't finished closing. Not yet, but it was close. Very, very close. And when it snapped shut, it would be glorious. The thing about viral videos is, you never know when they're going to explode, and you definitely never know how far the shrapnel will fly. I woke up the next morning feeling like I'd slept through an earthquake, my phone buzzing nonstop with notifications that looked like they were trying to crawl out of the screen. Comments, shares, duets, reaction videos. Someone even auto-tuned Karen's "This should be for families only" into a surprisingly competent remix that was already trending. And while the rest of the internet laughed, dissected, and reenacted her meltdown, the one person who absolutely was not laughing was currently stomping toward my house like the final boss in a low-budget action movie. Her fists were bald. Her face was the color of overcooked lobster. Her hair, usually shellacked into a helmet shape, was frizzed from stress and fury, sticking out like she had been electrocuted by pure indignation. She didn't even bother knocking on my door. She pounded, like she owed the door money that I opened it with the calm of a man who had slept beautifully knowing karma was doing push-ups. "Karen," I said, smiling. You look energized. Take that video down. Her voice cracked with the desperation of someone who had spent the last 12 hours reading thousands of strangers calling her entitlement.exe. I folded my arms, leaning casually against the doorframe. It's just a video of you being you. It's slander. It's literally footage of you recorded in public. You don't understand what you've done, she shrieked, pacing like a malfunctioning Roomba. I have parents from my kids' school messaging me. My church group saw it. My boss saw it. Boss? That part made me raise an eyebrow. My boss, she groaned, rubbing her temples. He said the company can't have viral drama liabilities. He put me on leave until they conduct a review. The first domino had fallen harder than expected. And you're going to take that video down, she demanded, jabbing a finger at me as if delivering the world's least intimidating death threat. But before I could respond, another voice chimed in. Ma'am? We both turned. Standing at the end of my walkway was a police officer, not the same one from the previous day. This one looked tired in the way only someone who had to respond to HOA complaints for a living can be. Are you the resident of the beige minivan? He asked. Karen blinked, confused. What? Yes, but this is private business. It's been reported for being left in a fire lane. She froze. The air turned thick, like the world was holding its breath. I parked it there because my spot is taken. Your assigned space is currently revoked due to permit issues, the officer reminded her. That's being handled, she snapped. Regardless, he said, you can't leave it blocking emergency access. It has to be moved immediately. My children were late for school. That doesn't change the fire lane regulations. Her eye twitched. Her breath came out in sharp, shallow bursts. She grabbed her hair like she was trying to keep her sanity from escaping through her scalp. You don't understand. That video, everyone at school is talking about it. My kids came home crying. People recorded them on the playground. They're calling them Mini Karen. I'm losing everything. For a split second, a fraction of empathy flickered in me. But then I remembered her screaming at me, trying to wrench open my car door, calling the police on me, and demanding that my property should belong to her because she had reproduced. Actions, consequences, basic equation. Ma'am, the officer said, you need to move the vehicle. She threw her hands up. I can't. There's nowhere to park. And if I leave it somewhere else, they'll tow it. Well, the officer said, you can move it to the temporary overflow lot. That's halfway across the neighborhood. That's the option. Karen opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again, like a fish caught between anger and despair. Then her gaze snapped to me. You're responsible for this. Me? I blinked. Or the part where you threatened to commandeer my car like this is a Fast and Furious reboot. She made a strangled noise, somewhere between a shriek and the sound a vacuum makes when it sucks up a sock. Then, without another word, she stormed toward her minivan, climbed in, and turned the key. Or tried to, because the engine made a noise that can only be described as a mechanical death rattle, like it was trying to cough out the trauma of being owned by her. No, 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 she whispered, slamming her hand against the wheel. Not today, not today. She tried again, and again. Each time the van shuddered, wheezed, and refused to cooperate. The officer stepped closer. Ma'am, is your vehicle operational? It runs, she insisted. It just needs to want to cooperate. Because if it's not drivable, he said carefully, we'll have to arrange for a tow. Karen's pupils dilated with horror. You could actually see the moment her spirit left her body. No, she whispered. Not a tow. I can't handle a tow. Everyone already thinks. Everyone's already laughing at. Please. But it was too late. The tow truck had arrived. Probably for someone else. But the officer flagged it down like fate was doing callbacks for poetic justice. Karen clung to the van door. You can't tow my car. My life is in there. Ma'am, the officer sighed. Please step aside. She didn't. Of course she didn't. So when the tow driver began hooking up the van, Karen finally snapped in the most Karen way possible. She sat down in front of the van, cross-legged, blocking the tow truck like she was staging a protest for something meaningful instead of expired parking permits and her own entitlement. People came out of their homes. Phones came out too. Cameras pointed. Neighbors whispered that it was a full-blown suburban amphitheater. The tow driver looked at the officer. The officer looked at Karen. Karen looked like she was about to ascend to a higher plane of hysterics. "Ma'am," the officer said, "if you don't move, I'll have to remove you." "Good," she screamed. "Let everyone see what this neighborhood does to mothers." I leaned against my mailbox, sipping my soda like it was movie popcorn. And then Karen's phone buzzed. She froze mid-rant. She picked it up, stared at it, and her face melted into devastation. "My job," she whispered. "They fired me. They fired me." Silence washed over the street. For the first time, Karen didn't look angry. She looked small, crushed, like all the energy she weaponized had ricocheted and hit her instead. She slowly stood, numb, dazed, defeated. The officer gently guided her away from the van. The tow truck hauled it off. And just like that, the era of Karen was over. She backed away, not screaming, not ranting, just quietly sobbing as she walked home, clutching her phone like it was the last piece of her identity. The neighbors drifted away. The show was over. I remained outside, the cool breeze brushing past me. The world suddenly peaceful, serene, like the air was fresher now that her energy wasn't polluting it. Later that evening, I posted one final update video. Not mocking, not cruel, just the simple truth. The situation had resolved. Actions have consequences. Be kind to your neighbors. The internet agreed. Comments poured in, not celebrating her misery, but acknowledging the simple lesson. And me? I went for a drive in my brand new car, windows down, music blasting, the road stretching out ahead of me like freedom itself. Halfway down the street, I passed Karen's now empty parking spot. For a moment, I almost felt bad. Almost. Then Never Gonna Give You Up came on shuffle, and I laughed out loud. The universe couldn't have timed that better. Justice served. Karma delivered. Case closed. And my car, still mine, still perfect. Still absolutely not for families only.